Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today I have another book review for you, and it is What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Aoyama. First of all, we all know why I picked up this book. It's got a cat on it and it says library. It's a book with books and a cat's on the cover. If you're not new here, you'll know I am a sucker for anything with a cat on the cover. And it's been getting quite bad. I've been getting a lot of cats recently. Got this book, and it is a Japanese bestseller. It is 5 short stories, all about 5 different people working through something and ending up in a library. Now, in the library, there is a librarian who not only gives them a book that they didn't ask for but that they need, but they also give them a felted keychain, which is something important either from the book that they've been given or something that is important to that person but they don't realize it yet. It is quite similar to the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I'll put a link above me now if you haven't seen my reviews on that series, because it is, again, lots of different stories about people finding themselves. Unlike Before the Coffee Gets Cold, they're not going back in time or forward in time to meet people. They are just working on themselves as themselves. They meet people in real time, but it is like that. They're all separate people, but the stories do interlink. So the same as Before the Coffee Gets Cold, the same as Look and Booth. If you haven't seen my review on that link is above me now. When I first started to read it, it felt quite disjointed. But once I got into it, I started to see the stories intertwining, and that made them a lot better for me. So just bear that in mind. It feels odd at first, and then when you get into it, it starts getting more exciting and more interesting. I will try to do this as spoiler-free as I can, because it's all short stories, so I don't want to tell you guys too much. But first, as always with my book reviews, I'll read you guys the blurb first. Before we get into that, don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe to the channel. Your continuous support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Okay, blurby time. What are you looking for? So asks Tokyo's most enigmatic librarian. For Sayuri Komachi is able to sense exactly what each visitor to her library is searching for and provide just the book recommendation to help them find it. A restless retail assistant looks to gain new skills. A mother tries to overcome demotion at work after maternity leave. A conscientious accountant yearns to open an antique store. A recently retired salaryman searches for newfound purpose. In Komachi's unique book recommendation, they will find just what they need to achieve their dreams. What You Are Looking For Is in the Library is about the magic of libraries and the discovery of connection. This inspirational tale shows how, by listening to our hearts, seizing opportunity and reaching out, we too can fulfill our lifelong dreams. How nice does that sound? Oh, and oh my god, I've just realized all of the felt creatures or items that the librarian makes are sprinkled on the front cover. You know when something just clicks? People watching this, if you read this book, after you've read it, play the I Spy the Felt thing. Anyway, it's really cute under the jacket. It's a really nice color. Let's get into story 1, which is a story about a woman who has no meaning in their life and doesn't know what they need or what to do or what they want to do. She is told to read a picture book about 2 mice, which is a famous Japanese story about Guri and Gura, and she's given a frying pan keychain. Now, one thing I really liked about this book is in the back, it gives you all of the titles of the books mentioned and given in this book to the characters. So if you want to read the actual books that the characters read to find themselves, you can. It's all in here, which I thought was a really nice addition. I really liked this first story. It was about learning to appreciate your small achievements and to know that no achievement is too small, which I really liked. Story 2 is a tale of a 35-year-old man who wants to open an antique shop but doesn't think he has the money or the time to do it. He does have a very supportive partner, which is lovely to see, but he doesn't realize how supportive she is. And most importantly, he has to go to a bookshop which specializes in cat books and has cats roaming around. If you're not new here, you will know. I have a thing with Japanese books. If they put a cat on the front cover and there's not a cat in the book, I get annoyed, right? This one, it has now only just occurred to me that it probably represents the felt cat, but it does represent the bookshop of the cats with the bookshop. Now, the cats don't play a major role and they're only in one story, so I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted more cat. However, overall, I did like this read. 2 is about finding the confidence to go for your dream and finding a workaround. You know, life is never perfect and it's not going to be. So it's finding a realistic goal, but also never diminishing your dreams. You can make your dreams happen. It's going to take sacrifice. On page 50, I have a quote from the second story, which is the combination of letters and boxes in place of using numbers. That was such an English sensibility, I thought, to use a system like this instead of ordinary numbers. I just love that because it's true. I mean, why do something the obvious way when you can make it so much harder? So in story 2, he's given a book on how do worms work and a cat felt. I'm not going to tell you why they're given these felt. Toys, keychains. I'm just going to leave that hanging because that's part of the intrigue is when you read it, is that's what they're given, that's the book they're given. Try to work out why. So if you're watching this and you haven't read it, you can work out why. I've given you the story synopsis of each one. I've given you the felt, keychain they're given, and the book they're given. See if you can work it out before you read it. Or just read it and it'll tell you as you go. Story 3 is a 40-year-old woman who is struggling with becoming a mum and losing her editor position without warning. She's been moved to a department that she doesn't fit in. It's really this one, story 3 really did hit me in the feels. I really felt for our protagonist here. They're given a book called Moon Petals, which I'm actually quite interested in reading now, and they're given an earth felt. Now, she was really high up in her company, and when she had a baby, she took the minimal amount of maternity leave, and they demoted her. So in England, that's illegal to do. I understand in Japan, that's still actually a thing that happens regularly. And oh my God, I felt for her. I really connected with her about the unfairness in a traditional society when being a woman and having a child, and the constant struggle of balancing those two jobs. But it's ultimately a story of accepting and being open to change, whilst also learning to communicate with other people. So she learns to communicate with her partner, which I really liked. Story 4 is a tale of a young artist who fails at their first attempt at getting into the arts world, but they couldn't seem to get into any other world either. So they loved manga, but didn't feel beyond that they had a purpose in life, and that's what this book is about. They're an unemployed man, they're given a plain felt. I really enjoyed this chapter. Again, I really connected with this character. They show, do correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they showed autistic traits that I really got on with and understood, and it is the story of them learning to try again, and also, like so many of the other stories, learning to appreciate themselves, appreciating what they can do, what they have achieved, how they can make a place for themselves in this very complex world. I do have a quote from this from page 176. He might be tough enough to survive any conditions and have special powers, but he sulks if he doesn't get enough attention and cries at the drop of a hat. It makes you wonder what strength really is, doesn't it? I'm just going to leave that as is. Take that how you want. And finally, we have story 5, which is a retired gentleman. They're given a felt crab, and it's about a man who retires and loses his way in life, which is quite common if you're very career focused and you've put all of your life into your career. Then once you leave your career, what are you left with? He doesn't know what to do with his free time, and he doesn't appreciate what he's already achieved in his life or what he has. It's about the relationships between him and his wife and him and his daughter. It's about finding meaning in being retired, or finding a meaning in his life that's worth more than just what he did at his employment, and also being proud of what he did at work. On page 240, I have a quote. "You told me that if you only ever look in front, your views will be quite narrow. So whenever I feel stuck or don't know what to do, I try to broaden my view, relax my shoulders, and walk sideways like a crab. That's such a unique way to just be like, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, then stop and look at it in a different way. There's so many ways to look at the same thing. So that is the 5 stories. Now, something I did really like is the different ages that we have represented in this group. There's a vast array of ages, and we have women and men. It doesn't have necessarily representation of LGBTQ plus community or various abilities, but it did kind of give me the hint that I may have representation of autism in this, but it's not defined, so I'm not sure. But I did enjoy this read. So let's go into my overall reviews. So for enjoyment, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed reading this. It was a light read, very interesting, intriguing. It's like reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold, but different kind of aspect. For writing style, I gave it 8 out of 10. Plot, 8 out of 10. They intertwine, it does progress. World building, a 10 out of 10. I could really imagine the world that they were in. Characterization, I gave them 8 out of 10. The characters were different from each other. Representation, I've done a 7 out of 10. Because like I said, it does do representation, but it could do a bit more. And originality, I gave 7 out of 10 because it is newer than Before the Coffee Gets Cold and it is playing on that same kind of idea. So overall, I give it a 57 out of 70, which gives it a 4 stars out of 5. So 4-star read for me. I would recommend. It's a very easy light read if you're looking for something to have a think about things, a light kind of sandwich read. This was good. I did dock it a mark for the lack of cats. They've got to stop doing this to me. Seriously, they really have got to stop doing it. But I enjoyed it. It is an interesting read. I really presume there's going to be more. But a nice read. That's it for this book review. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. I post books pictures as well for writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.